The Red Bull RB19 straightline speed, especially with the DRS engaged, was a major talking point during the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. I don't know why or how, but he came past me with serious speed, Lewis Hamilton said on the moment when Max Verstappen breezed by him. Is there a secret to Red Bull's wing solution? Are they doing something different than all the other teams to unlock more performance? We'll dive into that today to find out what Red Bull is doing differently. First things first, Red Bull have been able to create a rocket ship. The car is by far the fastest in a race setting, but the amount of speed it produces with DRS wide open is unseen. The DRS often makes it hard to defend, so it's no wonder Hamilton was shocked when Max Verstappen breezed by him with a speed advantage of 33 to 34 km an hour on the run to turn 1 during the race. Some have speculated that Red Bull may have done something illegal to achieve this, but it's all part of having a very efficient car. So when Max Verstappen easily passed Lewis Hamilton in the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, it made an obvious impact regarding the magnitude of Red Bull's straight-line speed advantage. Soon after the race, Hamilton stated he'd never seen a car with such a significant advantage over the competition as the RB19. "I've definitely never seen a car so fast," he said. "I think when we were fast, we weren't that fast. I think it's the fastest car I've seen, especially compared to the rest." Hamilton's remarks triggered a great deal of discussion over Red Bull's top speed supremacy and precisely how it was being accomplished. Although it is obvious that Red Bull's car has excellent aerodynamic efficiency, most of the attention has been focused on the speed increase that Red Bull looks to obtain from having their DRS open. Despite to popular opinion, there may and do exist disparities in DRS efficiency across teams based on how their wings are shaped. Although there's a regulated maximum gap of 85mm that may be open between the main plane and upper flap, which is monitored by the FIA, its performance can be modified by means of the wing's general design elements. Nevertheless, rather than being a clever maneuver, Red Bull's strategy looks to be as basic as having a wing that's ideally suited to Jeddah's circuit's requirements. As we know, teams create a suite of rear wing designs for the variety of tracks that F1 visits throughout the course of the season. These are often categorized as low, medium, and downforce wings. Nevertheless, there are generally many more possibilities in the suite of wings available than simply one kind of each amount of downforce. When compared to the previous regulatory era, many teams have seen a decrease in the number of bespoke wing solutions due to resource constraints and cost caps. Moreover, with a low downforce, high-speed location like Saudi Arabia squeezed into second place in the schedule, many teams didn't have a more tailored choice in their suite ready just yet. Red Bull, on the other hand, did, with the new wing having the same overall layout as the one used in Bahrain. It did, however, include changes to the main plane, upper flap, and end plate transitions to reduce downforce and drag, while also reducing the DRS delta compared to the wing used in Bahrain. Furthermore, Red Bull only used one beam wing element, which had an impact not only on the downforce and drag generated, but also on the behavior of the diffuser and rear wing, as they all talk to one another aerodynamically. This connection also affects how the car performs when DRS is activated and removed, implying that there is always a trade-off between how the car performs in traffic and in free air. Although Red Bull's wing was well suited to Saudi Arabia's high-speed needs, its primary competitors were all utilizing tweaked versions of what they had ran in Bahrain. So what kind of wing was Mercedes running? They looked nowhere near Red Bull's top speed at times. Did they make a mistake in their setup? Well, the key area of change at the Mercedes team, for example, was a reduced top flap. Although this would have produced a straight-line speed increase when DRS was turned off due to decreased downforce and drag, it was unlikely to deliver any greater performance when DRS was turned on when compared to the normal flap. Mercedes chose to run its greater downforce option after testing the reduced flap during free practice, instead focusing on adjustments to its end plate cutout. This is consistent with its strategy in numerous races in 2022, when it chose for no cutout in the top corner, and is something it can adjust fast due to the modularity of its wings. This portion of the wing is especially sensitive to the drag being produced, since there's a powerful vortex that's formed when the multiple pressure gradients clash. Some of this was offset by adjustments made to the rules for 2022 to increase the ability of cars to follow one another. Nonetheless, it's still an aerodynamic problem to solve, and each team has a different answer since they now have fewer tools at their disposal. Mercedes raced a new solution in Saudi Arabia, with the trailing edge of the tip section and cutout panel trimmed back. So, is Red Bull's wing that special after all? Or is it just an incredibly aero-efficient car? It seems that there is no major secret buried away with Red Bull's DRS that the other teams haven't discovered. It was indeed just a mix of it having a more circuit-specific rear wing, beam wing, and DRS delta, while the others modified what they used in Bahrain. This is the trade-off, both in terms of design and how you manage development over the course of the year, considering resource constraints and a cost cap. Other teams should have greater results elsewhere throughout the course of the season, since their wings will be more suited for various locations. That said, it's evident that the RB19 is head and shoulders above the competition in general, and this is due to all its design aspects functioning flawlessly together. They were indeed able to create something that is tailor-specific to the current regulations. But the rear wing, as said, isn't the only component that helps in a straight line, as there is one component that is the most important of all during these regulations, the underfloor. So it's very easy to focus on individual components of an F1 car and consider them modular, but it's all about how everything fits together. When it comes to attempting to optimize the DRS, you have to start with the underfloor. The principle of making ground effect Venturi tunnels work is straightforward, but in F1 the goal is to maximize this. That includes all the details, such as the vanes, the winglets on the brake ducts, the floor edges, and the underfloor configuration. This is what gives you the fine control. All of this contributes to the performance of the underfloor and diffuser at the rear of the car. The beam wing is a critical element in this jigsaw puzzle. If you simply had a freestanding rear wing and open the DRS, you gain maybe 15 km an hour, plus the tow from the car in front, because in a race, you're always behind a car when you can use the DRS, which gives you an additional 20 km an hour. Then, when the airflow flows over the beam wing and diffuser, it not only cuts out downforce, but also drag, allowing you to accelerate to Red Bull's 33 to 34 km an hour. This is why it's all about the whole rear portion of the car. Red Bull is the only team that has really mastered this. Even Aston Martin doesn't accomplish that. It doesn't acquire that kind of speed, and in fact suffers on the straights due to its high drag level. Nothing in these cars works in isolation. Everything works together. Most of us keep comparing the visual concept of the Mercedes to that of Red Bull and Ferrari, which are the three different concepts. You can only look at them in isolation, but the airflow passing over the side pod exterior surface and into and through the radiator ducts influences the underfloor performance considerably. There's no one magic bullet, you have to have everything functioning together. That's why Red Bull receives this additional benefit with the DRS. It's not down to any magic bullet or workaround. It's simply due to a car that is extremely effectively linked up aerodynamically. And that is incredible to see, and just shows the brilliant talent Red Bull has in its aero department, led by Adrian Newey. What are your thoughts on Red Bull's rear setup? Will this be something they can benefit from during every race? Or will this be the occasional one-off where it's just fitting to the track? Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. Thanks for watching today's video, and we'll see you in the next one.